cooking today with our three fabulous chefs. So now it's all about a bean soup.
That's right.
It's going to be one bean soup. You're going to make it into 3 different meals.
One bean soup, 2 bean soup, 3 bean soups.
That's great.
3 different ways because, I mean, listen, my wife is the champ of batch cooking because she raised the kids, basically cook for them all the time, and she has a lot of good recipes that she does, including my next recipe. Now, this one here is a classic standard bean soup, okay? It's a pasta fagioli, basically. It's a fagioli soup, right? And you can have it like that. It's a beautiful vegetable soup. You know it's delicious, it's nutritious. I mean, you get all the proteins, you get all the beautiful vegetables in it. I mean, fantastic, right? But sometimes you don't want to be eating that for 3 days in a row.
Right.
So, exactly. Maybe one night you want to stop by your favorite supermarket, pick up a roasted chicken, and do some steamed rice with beans, right? Beans and rice and beans.
Yes.
So you take the same soup and you turn it into rice and beans.
Love
now,
that.
how do we make this soup, right? And I'm just saying that because I just want to roast a little bit this vegetable. Now, I like to actually take my vegetables and give it a little bit of a searing, a little bit of a sautéing, because it extracts a little bit more flavor. Generally, you don't even need to do that. You just dump everything in a pot, put your broth on, and let it boil. The soup will call you when it's ready. It's like, what, an hour or so? You know, I mean, it's not a big problem, right? You can pre-soak the beans at home beforehand. You know, fantastic, right? I mean, not a problem. If I'm in a hurry, I always have canned beans in my house. Always have canned beans because that's great. What are you doing?
Just a little bit.
I know.
I love that.
Everybody always bothers me about the garlic. I love garlic, guys. I love garlic. I'm addicted. Right? Yeah, so basically, canned beans. You start with your vegetables. I mean, you always have a little celery, onion, and carrot. That's standard. You should always have them in your fridge, right? Bay leaves, dry bay leaf, perfectly fine. You can use that. If you have fresh herbs, if you have a garden and you have fresh herbs, by all means. Put that in. The beans already done, and then you add your, a little bit of tomato paste. It gives a depth of flavor. The good stuff. And not too much tomatoes. Just about that much. You know what I mean? You don't make a thick tomato sauce.
I see it in your recipes all the time. Not too much, just that much.
There you go.
Get the bucket out.
That is the right quantity. You know what I mean? The soup will tell you when it's ready. You know, and it will tell you when it's the right amount. You don't want a bean soup that is like all tomato. You don't want a super red tomato soups. I mean, they're not that good. They're too much acidity. It's just not palatable, right? I mean, it's not good. So we can put this one in here.
There you go.
So I need a little bit more. Yeah, go ahead.
Why not?
That's beautiful vegetable stock. You can buy vegetable stock. Otherwise, you can just do it with water. Start it up with water. Or if you want to be really rich, then throw a little bacon in it. Put a little chicken stock. Then that's a totally different thing. But you know, I like to make my vegetable soup vegetarian completely, all the time. I find that that's good. So, you boil this, the beans are already cooked. The carrot, celery, and onion will take a few seconds because, you know, they're small dice and you pre-saute them, so they take very little time. Plus, it's nice to have a little crunch, right? So, the soup is done within the next 15, 20 minutes, it's going to be done. As soon as it starts boiling, simmer it a little bit, and it's done. And then you can start working on it because once the dish is boiled, which doesn't take very long at all.
What is in there? Is that kale? Or is that,
exactly. So now you can start turning it into something different, right? You can take this soup over here, start your steamer, put the rice in, half soup, half water, and do the amount of liquid needed for the steamer. Just cover it, boom, it's done. You have your rice and beans.
That's great.
Now, you want to be a pasta fagioli, then, you know, pasta fagioli, then you do your pasta and you boil it and you boil the soup with it and all that, and it becomes a pasta fagioli, right? So now, in Florence, they have a soup that is really spiffy, and everybody knows it. It's called ribollita. It's reboiled soup, basically. So they take...
Sounds better than
so much better.
Does it sound better with ribollita? I know, but everyone that goes to Florence, I know a lot of people went to Florence.
Isn't soup reboiled?
Basically. Well, first boil is always good, right? The second boil is even better. But so what they do is they take stale bread, because you don't throw away bread. All right? You just spread a little bit of garlic. Like in Florence, that's what they did to me, and I absolutely loved it, because normally they would just throw bread in here, just boil it down, and then give it to you. In Florence, I was served a soup done this way. So you take garlic bread, you spread garlic on it, you toast it, you put it on a plate, and then you just add your soup right on it like that.
Come on.
Okay? Yeah, absolutely. And then you throw a lot of pecorino on top.
Yes.
And then you just bake it. Okay, so you have a little bit. You have a little bit of the the cheese melting, and it's becoming almost like an onion soup, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's just fantastic.
Love that.
See,
And-
this does not take a lot of money to make such a good meal.
Yeah,
That
but
is
you know
a
what?
good meal.
Your guests come over and you serve them that, and they go like, "Wow, what is this? This is
Yes.
fantastic!
Excellent.
Wow, this is so fancy."
It
You know,
is.
because yes,
not really.
And then when you have leftover, you take these beautiful little Rubbermaid containers,
Yeah.
which are fantastic. I mean, I'm like loaded with these at home.
Yeah.
Loaded.
They stock up
you
in
know.
the fridge.
Good storage.
Absolutely.
They're see-through,
Oh, the
which is
see-through.
great. You know what's in there.
Yes, the
right?
see-through. See-through is very important, and they seal, they stack your freezer full. And we
Yeah.
do have, I make batch cooking all the time, especially stocks.
Yes.
And I have all of these in my freezer, so we just
love that.
load it up,
You
let
know
it
what
cool
usually
off.
that is? It's actually brilliant.